Welcome back to Silver Tears Tarot, another video for today. So, I decided to come out and do another one of those little Soulmate Snapshot pop up readings. I've gotten so many messages and so many questions in the last 48 hours, I cannot even tell you. So, if I have talked to you in the last 48 hours and you have asked me to do a quick general reading, please know that I heard you and I'll get it worked in over the next couple of readings, whether it's part of the information that comes out in one of the readings, or if it doesn't come out that way, I'll just do another one of these Soulmate Snapshot pop up readings. But I noticed a pattern in the questions. And so it was a big one that came out a lot. And it was from people who were in separation wanting to know if their person was going to return to them. And if so, when. So I think that's what we're going to tackle in today's Soulmate Snapshot. And of course, something to remember, I'm doing a general reading for the collective. So it's not individual energy. But like I will have told you if you contacted me, um, if you've been resonating with these readings, then you may want to check this one out. So it won't resonate with everyone, but if you have been resonating with these readings, you may resonate here too. So this one's for you. And if it's for you, then please do subscribe. These readings are all connected. So we're going to start out by looking at what the energy is in between the two of you. So this is like that energetic backdrop, but what I'm asking in this question is a little bit more: what is happening in the energy between you? How are things feeling spiritually between you? So I understand if if you're not in communication, if you're not in communication, that you are, it's that spiritual energy that we're talking about. But we've got the Five of Cups that has come out in reverse. And for those of you who are newer to the page, I'm going to give you a little bit of a description of what I see, especially in this deck when I do the Five of Cups. So this is the Star Tarot, same one I used earlier. So we've got the Five of Cups, and when you have there's typically this person that's kind of looking down at three cups that are lying down. The liquid is pouring out. They no longer hold potential. It's a card of sadness. It's a card of regret. That's the energy that's flowing when you see the card this way. But you see these two cups in the back that have the butterflies that speak of transformation. There's all the opportunity in the world back there, but this person isn't focused on that. They're not able to focus on anything except for the sadness and the regret that's in front of them. However, when we've got this card in the reverse, it's an ability to kind of look at the big picture. So still there is this ability to recognize what hasn't gone well, but there's an ability to recognize what's possible too. So that's the energy that's between you. It feels a little like springtime. So let's dig into that, and that's where we're going to start. The energy between the two of you has that more well-rounded feeling to it. Feels a little like springtime. There is a magnetism that continues. So one of the reasons that you may suddenly be feeling more of a drive, or it just won't go away, that magnetism continues to be very strong. Um, and it's around, so we've got pain around the ending. That's the main thing that will have kind of, that's the cups that are down over here, the ones that are sad and regretful around this painful ending. However, it's a really big challenge for them to reconcile all the energy within themselves between this ending and this desire to come toward you. In fact, so we've been getting in some of the recent readings, if you are somebody who's been watching them, and if you haven't been watching them, you may want to go back and see some of the others. But we've been getting in some of the previous readings that there's a need to go after something that is truly makes you passionate, okay? And so it's about taking this passion that the two of you are both feeling toward this magnetism toward one another, um, and allowing yourself to move towards something that is really big, really passionate, and is going to feed your soul. This is part of, and we've already seen this message coming out in several readings, this is part of what is going to prepare you for a reunion if you have the opportunity for reunion. So we'll look at that here in a moment. We're going to do a second kind of stack of cards here that talks about whether they're coming back, and if so, when. So we've got the Judgment card that has come out here. The Judgment card talking about what's happening in the energy between the two of you. So we have this difficult ending. We have the need to reconcile that difficult ending and the feelings around that with what's happening with all that passion that wants to bring the two of you together. That drive to really follow something very passionately. That does not have to be the relationship. And in some cases, what you've been being told is to look outside of the energy here because it's actually going to help to create some additional balance. So there may be a hobby being picked up on either of your sides. It doesn't feel like it's a person, but it does feel like it is generating some of that healing. It is generating some positive forward movement. There's a new perspective that the two of you have started to gain, both of you. That's in this energy here, and that's evident here. When I see this Five of Cups in the reverse, that feels like a new perspective to me. But we've also got this Four of Cups, and this is going to be more in that it's in the defense mechanism category. So this Four of Cups here is about saying, well, no, I'm just going to walk away from this. I didn't want it anyway, or it's not right for me. Watch for this. You need to be able to discern the difference between I'm making a decision to walk away versus I actually don't want this and I'm going to walk away, because that's still in the mix here. It's very much tied to the painful ending from that Ten of Swords. Let's see if there's, we're not quite done here yet. So we've got the Five of Swords also, which talks about kind of, it's a really difficult, conflicting sort of energy. So it's an energy of conflict, but not just any conflict. It's also a conflict where you feel like you're kind of spinning your wheels and you're pushing forward to do something, but you're not necessarily there's a bit of a, I'm going to use the word impasse again, but it's these last three cards that I put out. Okay, so we've got this desire to win at any cost that kind of comes out with this Five of Swords. This Page of Wands would be that natural curiosity, but that natural curiosity almost gets removed entirely because of this defense mechanism, this Four of Cups energy that tells you, nah, maybe I didn't want this anyway. And this is happening in both camps. And so this is something that maybe it's working a little bit better on your person's side, for them to feel like they're going to be able to walk away. But regardless, there's a little bit of that echoing between the two of you, which is not uncommon in these relationships. Okay, so I feel like that's enough cards for me to put down for this one, and I need to stop. And so I get the signal that it's time to stop. We're going to look now at whether your person is coming back to you and when. If so, when. So this is it's a deep question. It's one of those ones we've really been getting. I've gotten a lot. Probably half of those people who have contacted me in the last 48 hours were asking this question. So, Eight of Pentacles, that's mastery. That is emotional self-mastery, and it's very promising. So emotional self-mastery is kind of the answer to both questions. I wondered how that was going to pan out, or if we were going to kind of have to dig for it. And of course, we're going to dig for it. But what I'm kind of getting at here is that emotional self mastery is what's required for the two of you to come back together. So we know that when we ask this question, and we've asked it before, whether your person is going to return, sometimes we get less of a time frame and more of a what has to happen in order for them to come back. But we'll see what comes out as we look through it. What we see so far is that they would be able to come back, and the energy does feel favorable for that, but they would be able to come back once they've achieved some form of self-mastery. And it has to do with truly finding that new perspective, but this edge with the difficult ending between the two of you really brings out this defense mechanism with the Four of Cups. And so, oops, I've got my cards all kind of messed up there. It's hard to keep them all straight when I do readings in this relatively newish format. I really like it, but it drives me nuts in that way. So hopefully it's not driving you guys too nuts. We'll focus on the message. So it looks like they are inclined to come back. Nothing in the future is definite because we always have the opportunity to put that free will in there. But this is the trajectory that you're currently on. It does look like they are inclined to come back to you. However, again, it looks like there's a level of self mastery, emotional self mastery, that has to be gained in order to do so. So that's promising, but it's difficult. There's currently a skittishness between the two of you. So there's a page of swords. This is what's kind of keeping your person away. And that's that feeling of skittishness because the page of swords is ready to jump out and do pretty much anything. But there's also this sense of the Six of Cups brings us a feeling of nostalgia. But it's a very, in this case, a very positive nostalgia. There's lots of positive memories that, when they get in there and they really think about those memories, they're able to say, I do remember that. I have incredibly positive feelings about it, not just a strong memory of it. And it's engendering in them an ability to want to move forward that they haven't quite had before. So this Four of Cups feeling over here, and I'm just going to set it on top because that feeling is so prevalent, and it feels like it really matters. This Ten of Wands or this Ten of Swords, I'm going to do the same thing. So this pain from the ending is causing and generating kind of this Four of Cups feeling where it's a disappointment, a feeling that I've just got to walk away from this, but not necessarily because of a desire to walk away so much as feeling like there's a need to walk away out of a sense of self-preservation. And even working against that, we've got that skittishness that is very much attached to that emotion, but then you've got, man, they're so nostalgic. There's so much positivity associated with those memories, and it brings so much passion. So we have the Queen of Wands over here. We've got the Sire of Wands here, which is the equivalent of the King of Wands. Lots of passion, lots of magnetism bringing the two of you together. So there are lessons to be learned here, and I feel like that's consistent with the messages that we've been seeing. You guys didn't come together just to see each other. You came together to learn some lessons. Here's one. Okay, so we know that we've got the Eight of Pentacles that came out there talking about the emotional self mastery that has to be gathered to the two of you before you'll be able to truly come back together. And this is on your person side, how they're feeling, but it's truly going to be both of you. This lesson is both of you also. So this is a lesson in identifying what you're holding on to, what you're attaching yourself to, and learning how to let go. It's not a simple message. It's not something that you just learn it quickly. It's an anxiety that you get to release. That's ultimately what it is. So there's the Four of Pentacles in the upright, talking about this feeling of this miserly sort of feeling, this I'm almost collecting things and can't let go kind of feeling. Um, People do that with money. People do that with pentacles. Pentacles are resources. And so, in order to feel safer, they'll collect the money, they'll collect the resources to themselves. When in reality, it creates and generates a lot of anxiety. And that's the sort of thing that's happening here. So, in this case, may not be so much money or that sort of thing. It may be more of an emotional experience, but needing to be able to attach or detach from people and situations and outcomes is critical, and that's part of what's going to be learned here. But it's difficult because they're learning it. They have to learn it separately from you, but they also have to learn it in the face of all this magnetism, as well as knowing that on an intellectual level, they know that that anxiety would be reduced, but they won't really know until they're able to let go of it. But check it out because that's a lesson that's here for you as well. So let's see what else wants to come out for this. It feels like we're not done drawing cards. We've got the Knight of Swords. So the Knight of Swords is a card of action, but it's a card of swift and decisive action. So what you see here is neither swift nor decisive because the card is in reverse. Let me try and get the glare off of it for you. The card is in reverse, and so there's not a swift and decisive action forward. There's more this sense of not feeling comfortable moving forward. There's a feeling of I've burned out emotionally. I can no longer move forward. I can no longer do this. Some things got revealed to them that they felt really uncomfortable about. It set them off of their daily balance, and this is not that big long existential balance, but I practically expect to see that one in here too. This is more that day-to-day balance. They can't keep themselves um, organized emotionally and mentally now, and even their mess at work because of the way they've been thinking about this, which is why they feel like they've got to walk away, and it's this difficult. And the ending doesn't have to be a real ending. The two of you may not have truly separated because you may not truly have had the opportunity to come together, but there is something that causes an end in the energy. So we've also got the Hermit here. That, man, these cards are just spilling out. So we've got the Hermit here talking about them having early on in this, having gone in, looking into their thinking cave, looking for some answers, trying to understand what's really going on there, but not feeling like they came back with the answers that they were seeking, feeling instead, oh, like they are lacking in that confidence that they need to truly be able to move forward and do something positive. And that's part of that emotional self mastery that has to come out. Theirs are okay. Wow, these cards just keep coming. The Tower. So the Tower is, a difficult emotional upheaval. It's what has to happen here. So right now, this Tower is effectively in reverse. They are not wanting to go forward and do what has to be done in order to find this emotional self mastery because it's very difficult. It requires difficult lessons. This is part of what's going to be required in order for them to move forward and come back and contact you. So they are inclined to do so, but they have to get past this, which right now feels like it is both a choice that they don't even get to make. Like there's something about this that is a choice that doesn't feel like a choice, and yet it is inevitable. Okay, we're done. Sorry, I didn't think that we would get quite that many cards. It just started to roll, and the next card, when they glow, you take them. And they just kept going. So, this is a very powerful message, though. This tells you why they haven't come back yet. So, they're inclined to come back, but they have to work through some things. They've got some lessons. We've seen this. We've been seeing this in the readings, this sense of inevitability, this sense of them needing to let the tower fall, let this happen, let the change start to happen. But it's very difficult because it means they have to let go of something. It's part of their ego, and in order for them to do that, they've got to really work against some desire to move in a different direction. They feel like they don't have a choice, but the reason they don't feel like they have a choice is because they haven't allowed themselves to give themselves one. So, and the new truths that we saw at the beginning of the year are playing into this as well. So it's a lot for them to digest. There's a lot going on. Um, let's see what else you need to know. And almost like that bridge question that we sometimes get in the extended readings, which, by the way, I think we're going to have to transition over to doing extended readings this way. Just thinking about it. I'm just thinking about it. Anyway, so one of those things that comes out in the extended reading is, what is it that is going to get you there? What else do you really need to know in order to get yourself to this energy? And so that's the question we're asking. What else do you need to know that gets you to this energy? And what is it that's going to help get you the answers that you're seeking? So we've got the Knight of Swords, and it's bringing us back to, gosh, where is it? Okay, so over here, initially in your current energy, we saw this Eight of Cups. Okay, and this Eight of Cups is important because this is you going passionately toward your Nine of Cups, which is your happiness. That's your wish fulfillment. This is not necessarily related to your person that you're dealing with. Okay, but there's this need in you to go forward and do something that ignites your soul, and so this Knight of Swords talks about this is the path to it. So let's see what wants to come out for that. Ooh, I just dropped one, And it's the first card that wanted to come up as we were putting the cards away after this one, and it's about the Seven of Cups. So the Seven of Cups is it's choices, it's options. You have so many options in front of you, and one of the things, the situation with your person is blurring out some of these options. It's making it difficult for you to actually see what's in front of you, and almost creating kind of this cloudiness to it. And so it's difficult for you to see what options lie in front of you, but it's going to be one of these options that opens you up and makes you guys ready for this. You both have to do this. You both have to get passionate about something that isn't each other, that's going to help you here. So, but you have to be able to see those options. And so the sun, it's going to help to bring this happiness and a clarity. The sun is more than just happiness. Sometimes it's a remarkable clarity. Sometimes it's an ability to love. Sometimes it's an ability to talk about what you love, to talk to people that you love about how you love them. But this is a happiness and a clarity, and you're going to be able to kind of feel it. So as you start to gravitate toward the option that's appropriate for you, the sun starts to come out and you become freed up to do this Knight of Swords sort of behavior where you're able to go passionately towards something. And then you've got this Knight of Cups. That's opening yourself up for love, loving communication. It's a beautiful, beautiful feeling, but it's a little bit scary from where you're currently standing. There's a brand new passion in here. It's not a person. This is a passion for something different. Could be starting a business. If you've been thinking about a side hustle, this may be the time to jump into that. Or maybe it's not a side hustle. Maybe it's a hustle, you know. But whatever you have been maybe thinking about in your mind, but maybe it hasn't been quite as balanced as you'd like it to be because you've been focusing a lot of your energy over here. It's something to think about because you haven't been in a place where you've been moving towards your happiness. You've been in a place where you've been given the tools to and the tools came as a part of like kind of the emotions that came from this relationship, but they're helping you to figure out, here's what you do want, here's what you don't want, this is what happiness looks like, this is what it doesn't look like. And so you are in a place where you need to be able to evaluate what that happiness is going to look like. And so you also need to be able to identify where you can help yourself and what you control and what you don't control. Because if you're able to move yourself forward in the places where you are able to control things, this is going to move you toward that clarity, toward that happiness. Helps to clear the way, because these options here aren't just one and done. You've got some options here that are going to be available to you if you're able to see them. You've got some things to work against, some things that involve not understanding exactly what's going to make you truly happy. You have some ideas. You probably don't have all of it figured out just yet, according to this. And there may be a little bit of a, I want to say fear of success, because that's that same feeling that keeps coming up. But it's this feeling of not being sure if you're going to be able to do something, and therefore not going forward to try, just kind of saying, ah, never mind, forget it. It's too good to be true. Anyway, we, we've had this card come out, and with all of this, it was bound to come out. But I mean, the Ten of Cups in reverse has been that lesson of discernment. And it's about, I'm going to move this over so it can be next to its friend, the Nine of Cups, because so often when they first started coming out, they were coming out together. It was about something coming to you and feeling like it was too good to be true. And as you get up closer to it, you have to be discerning about how you're actually going to handle it. So is it going to be something that you're able to look at and say, why, yes, this is actually just as wonderful as it seems? Or is it something that you don't love quite as much and you're not as happy about? It, regardless of what that is, it's not necessarily a black and white decision. It's going to be somewhere in that gray area. So you have to figure out how you want to address this. But in order to do that, you truly have to understand what it is that you want. You are going to be victorious as you move toward it, but you're the one that's going to generate that energy. You've got this new truth that started coming to you too. So your person has balked at new truth. We saw that starting back in January. This collective has been watching their person balk at new truth and not know how to bring it into their life and not know how to really bring it into their existence and how to think about it for quite some time. They've been guarding walls that no longer need to be guarded. This has been happening on both sides. But as we start to unwind the lessons that come from that, we start to and this is done. We start to recognize that these new truths are going to make you stronger. They're going to be part of this new perspective. They're part of what is driving this new perspective now. So it's like you just have to continue with this, and this is an energy that is relevant to both of you. So both of you need to find that way to move forward, need to find that passion that's going to set your heart on fire. And it may be difficult because you've got a lot working against you in that, because not the least of which being it's very difficult to change direction. It's very difficult to make yourself move forward when you've been stuck in something that's making you, hold back and making you focus on when is this person coming back. And in reality, in order for this person to come back, these are the very problems that are going to have to be solved. So that's deep. Let's get you an advice card before we go. This one got to be a little bit longer of one of these readings. We're going to use this one, the herbiary, the illustrated herbiary deck, for your advice. Once again, I really like the way that these decks worked together, and just wanted to, the energy is great, and it's capturing the energy flowing through the day effortlessly. So I thought we're keeping that. Let's see here. So we've got, what kind of advice do you need for this? So forbidden fruit. Here's that lovers in reverse. I don't have an option again. There is something about this that is a pattern. Somebody's got a pattern where they tend to go after something that they historically have known was going to be difficult to get. Okay. Or I talked about that feeling of a fear of success. Also, this is relevant because if you go after something you know you can't have, then you're not going to feel quite as badly about it when you don't get it. However, this fear of success is also going to be the thing that drives that lack of emotional self mastery that is so much required. This is both driving the two of you toward one another. I mean, we've also got this magnetism driving the two of you toward one another, but not just this feeling of coming together, but also this feeling of, and here are the things that I have to do in order to make it happen. So that's what wanted to come out for this one. If this is you, then maybe go ahead and subscribe. There are probably some videos in here that would be helpful for you, just to understand kind of what's going on and get a little bit closer with some of these messages, because there's a lot that came out in here, but it references back to a lot of things that we've kind of already seen and already talked about across the time on this YouTube channel. So check it out. I hope to see you again in a future reading.